Welcome back to the Torque Test channel. We got a good one for you today. The new Hercules brushless impact driver up against Milwaukee Gen 3 and Gen 4, up against the Cobalt Next Gen, the Bauer brushless, that's from the same store, and heck, anything it can get close to, the Monster XTR impact driver and the Toasty Flex Quick Eject while we're at it. We're going to see just how many brand dominoes this little guy can chain together and knock down. And little it is. This is the all-new HCB81B Hercules we bought from the Harbor Freight, and it's just 4.75 inches long. We went in to buy the new drill driver as well to show you guys, but our store didn't have any yet. We gotta wait until they're selling them in person, just like the rest of you do. On the topic of size again, they're Bauer brushless that we have thanks to Max, a viewer of ours who wanted to see it tested as well. This one is a full inch longer at 5.75 inches. In fact, most cordless from Harbor Freight is usually noticeably bigger than other top brands, it seems, but in this case, this one's only 0.1 inches longer than a trusty Milwaukee Gen 3 2853-20. Though a bit more bulbous too, sort of like the newest Gen 4 Milwaukee, which is even a tiny bit shorter. But where this blue boy comes out way ahead by being behind in compared to really everyone else is price. It's $70. Not like on sale for $70, it's just $70. The Gen 3 can be found for $110 to $120 these days, and the Gen 4 is still $130 to $150. That's literally twice the price. And that's with the 5-year over-the-counter warranty Hercules brushless tools now have. The Bauer is even cheaper at just $50, but no warranty outside of the 90 days unless you want to purchase one like usual at the store. But the real reason we're gathered here today is torque. Not because it should be the number one reason you consider an impact driver. Screws don't always need 167 foot-pounds, but 167 foot-pounds is what this tool is rated at, and this tool, and this tool, all 2,000 inch-pounds or 167 foot-pounds. The new Hercules, 2,200 inch-pounds or 183 foot-pounds, or so they say. Impact drivers often hit their numbers on this channel, so it's not the particular number we're after, but this side-by-side saying it beats Milwaukee, well, should beat both of these Milwaukees by the numbers. That's what we're going to suss out. To help with that, we're going to rope in the Cobalt Next Gen impact driver KID 2024A-03 because value for performance, Cobalt is often a good yardstick for most new Harbor Freight introductions, I feel. This is also rated for, yeah, you guessed it, 167 foot-pounds, 2,000 inch-pounds. Every tool you see tested today will be using a 5 amp hour battery to keep things even. The Cobalts will use the XTR style 4 amp hour ultimate output because it seems to match closest to a 5 amp hour based on our testing. Up first is our 5-second working torque test. This test is great because impact drivers often make what they say on the box in this very test. Who would have thunk? We're going to have the Cobalt taking on the Gen 3 that's on screen here, which just made 167 foot-pounds, the same 167 it advertises, like this Cobalt. Let's see this one. $134, not exactly weak, but also not Milwaukee Gen 3 levels at this point. More tests, we'll see. Up next is the Bauer, in light red on screen, also rated 167. And 167 foot-pounds is what it made. Can't make this stuff up. Took a less rapid approach to get there, but she got there all the same. That's incredibly good for a $50 impact driver, though not exactly compact, this one. Now for the Hercules, which is compact, and boy have we been waiting to see what this one can do considering how their 1/2-inch impact wrenches have done on the channel. $179 foot-pounds. That is insane, frankly, and no fluke either. Here's another run of it making exactly the same 179. For some context, that's more than a DeWalt DCF850 makes in any length of test with just 5 seconds to work with. So yeah, it's powerful and fast to be hitting those numbers this early. Okay, on to reverse. We're going to throw in the Gen 4 now in a test you've not seen until today, as the last time the Gen 4 stopped by, it stopped working right about here. Our replacement has been doing amazingly in durability testing, where it was abused until smoking. In order to earn its place back to being shown on the channel, here's how it does in our 10-second max torque test. And yeah, that's the battery on this 1.5-year-old XE 5.0 splitting in half. The screws on the top pulled out of the bottom half and won't go back together. It's stripped. I swear this Gen 4 is like bad luck for us. It is powerful though, snaps impact adapters with the best of them. And by our metrics, is overall a performance increase over the Gen 3, even if Milwaukee doesn't advertise one. So in fact, it's not just a smidge shorter Gen 3 this one. And you'll get to see its power curve on screen now with the Cobalt Next Gen being thrown into the mix. Let's take a look at what that one can do in reverse. The Gen 4 oddly whipping things out in the end, and the Cobalt continuing to make good power considering all impact drivers, but not a standout in this group as of yet. Here's the brushless Bauer, which matched the Gen 3 in its first test. (177 foot-pounds) and a bit lazier to get there again. The Gen 3 with similar peak performance should drive most things quicker for sure. Still impressive though. And lastly, the new Hercules from Harbor Freight. So the Hercules doesn't enjoy reverse as much as forward and makes the same peak as a Gen 3 here with some disadvantage on the curve. Which, given the choice, most people would choose forward for impact drivers specifically. 10 seconds and forward is our last test, so we're going to settle that score. We're going to jump forward a bit with the Bauer and Cobalt on screen now versus those Milwaukees. The Cobalt making as much as 152, and the Bauer is clearly tapped out. We don't see a flat line like this that often. Considering how much it makes in a forward 5-second test, this isn't much higher. We did get one run up to 182 on the Bauer, but this isn't a best case test, it's a median of 3 as usual. So the Milwaukees are still at the top. Time for the Hercules to try and change that in its last go. (200 foot-pounds) even. This thing is an animal. We'd need the two most powerful impact drivers we've ever tested to compare to this, the Cobalt XTR and the Flex Quick Eject, both 24 volt and both made by Chervon. The XTR being a clear next size up in things footprint wise though, but even in this group, it's not looking bad. And consider the price difference. Let's consider all the factors on our ranking, then we'll touch on the shortcomings this Hercules does have that you'll need to consider. Starting out below the Gen 3 and 4 here, their power runs are divided by 5 for points on our impact driver ranking, as 27, 31, and 30 for the next gen Cobalt, 34, 35, and 34 for the Bauer, which gets up to its max in a hurry and then sort of just sits there, and 36, 36, and 40 for the Hercules, which just goes to town and forward. Looking at foot-pounds per inch of length, that's 30 for both the Cobalt and the Bauer. So the Bauer is sort of similar tech here, just using more room to achieve more. Then 42.2 points for the Hercules, which is really a mark of a modern top-tier sort of driver here with these sort of points. The Cobalt was a bit shy of its rating here, and the Harbor Freight models get their max of 100% here. Good stuff. Performance per dollar, this is where you'd hope this category of tools would shine. That's 14.1 for the Cobalt, only available in a kit, so adjusted here with a note as usual, and 27.7 and 22.9 for the Harbor Freight models, which is a lot on this ranking. That totals 226.1, 260.7, and 277 Point 1, putting the Cobalt about equal to the latest Bosch Freak. Sort of expected a little more given how hard the XTR goes. The Bauer flies up right below the two Milwaukees, similar performance, a tad bit down here maybe, but longer, though around 1/3 the price. It's pretty good. And the Hercules, get your unsubscribe clicking fingers ready because this guy's in the new #1 spot. And why shouldn't it be? The XTR makes more peak, but on the curve, not as cut and dry, so isn't going to be driving smaller stuff any faster. The Flex, yeah, it's a powerhouse, you can't deny that. And this aggressive curve earns the Flex a #1 spot on our average power ranking. We've not shown before, but you'll find in your catalog now if you have our online charts. This ranking shows tools regardless of their price, size, whatever, just the beans, torque per second averaged. The Hercules comes in third here with 164. But this Flex, it also gets super hot to the point where we had to give it some brakes and is a full 1 pound heavier to lug around all day, and you feel that. And it's more than twice the price. So similar performance, similar length, lighter, more modest torque claims, and you'd need to go down another 10 places on this list to find anything the same price or less. Assuming these don't all just grenade themselves, I think you'd have a hard time objectively not calling this the top impact driver to beat on the market right now. I'm saying that about a Harbor Freight tool, and it's not the 1st of April. We're definitely living on one of the weirder timelines in this multiverse. But unlike impact wrenches, which are a power forward type of tool, I think impact drivers have a lot more intangibles, such as trigger feel, which on this one is not great, but not far off Milwaukee, so sort of who cares. And smoothness, vibration, well, thanks to the new $10,000 some odd high-speed camera we bought to learn stuff like this, we can show you that because this Hercules definitely dances the cha-cha. It's obvious to feel, but not obvious to show on camera until you slow things down. Here's the Milwaukee having a good time on a stuck bolt at 2,500 frames per second. It jiggles around, and even further into its effort, you can see this collet slam forward a lot more than we expected to see. But check out the body of the tool and the hand holding it, how much it's moving around. Now, compare that to the series of clips we're going to show you on the Hercules here. Everything's jiggling around. This forward reverse switch, your hand, even the aluminum hammer housing jiggling away from the tool body. Oh, and this is just mode 2. Here's mode 3. Yeah, you thought I was being nitpicky at first, right? Check the shock wave that starts here, then travels through the gun, into the handle, then ripples through your hand, and you can even see it travel back through the hand and into the tool again if you pay attention. All around 70 times per second. Ouch. Not that it hurt per se to use, but fatigue can add up throughout a day. They would do better to locate and secure this hammer housing within the tool's injection molding so that this doesn't amplify this effect. But really, you could consider this Harbor Freight's first real effort, okay, maybe second if you include the recent Bauer, at making a top class of impact driver. These small, difficult to quantify things are details that brands chase after for many years, decades without getting there, where I feel Makita has been for a while with its quality of life details. So you have to hand it to the store for swinging to the fences this hard. No doubt you yellow and red and teal guys aren't swayed by this sort of introduction, but people who buy based on performance per buck, like Ryobi, Cobalt, Skill, even Ridge and Metabo HPT, this thing is a big come at me bro sort of move. So look out, Hercules is coming for your lunch. Appreciate you joining us. We make episodes like these at least every Friday. Click subscribe to join us for that. And thanks for watching.